Welcome, listeners, to the Talkin' Tunes Show, where we talk everything music. And today is a very, very special episode because with me today is the very talented, beautiful, gorgeous, and awesome guest, Morgan St. Jean. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to chat.
Sure. And I'll tell you a little bit about the story, what happened. So I always have like a playlist playing, of music, and it's a little bit of a mixed variety. And I listen to all genres of music. So I was doing some housework, whatever, and I had like a pop playlist going on YouTube,
Okay.
and Past Life had come up.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I stopped and I said, it's weird. I don't recognize that song. So I said, who is that? So I did the Shazam. You came up, and then that's what happened. I just went right into that and looked you up, started listening to more songs. But
Oh,
man, I just stopped in my tracks. That song just blew me away. That song was just so amazing.
thank you so
And
much.
I
I'm happy
became
to
like
hear
a big
that.
fan right after that.
Oh,
So, first and foremost, I want to tell you that I was reading a little bit about you were saying that you don't like to be um boxed into like one category, meaning like
yeah,
pop,
right.
but I do hear a lot of different genres in your music. So can you talk a little bit about that? Like what influenced you, artists that influenced you?
Yeah, totally. First of all, I also have to say I'm so glad that it was Past Life that you
Yeah.
found first because I have a couple songs that I think are kind of the more usual ones that people find first, but Past Life is so special to me.
Yeah.
So it makes me happy to hear that that's the one that kind of brought you to.
I do hear a lot of variety. Like after that, I listen to like Conversations with God and
Right,
Right and
right.
Unsettled Down, especially when you hear like the acoustic versions, totally
Totally.
different. But that's what I like about you. You're all over the place and you never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah. So
Yeah.
and any artists growing up that really influenced you?
Yeah, I think, I'm really inspired by powerful women who are
Yeah.
unafraid to use their voice and to say whatever they feel. So I
Right.
grew up listening to Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera,
Oh,
but I also
definitely.
was obsessed with, Amy Winehouse and
Oh, I hear a
Adele.
lot of that. Yes.
Yeah.
How about
So
like Adele?
she's one of my all-time favorites.
I could hear so much of her in your vocals.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like the
And
overtones.
thank you. I mean, that's quite a compliment, and I think as I've gotten older, I've loved a lot of different artists, but I love
Sure.
Lana Del Rey and Lady Gaga and just these women who are
Absolutely.
telling their stories in a way that's really unapologetic and honest. And I love voices that I think are unique and special. And so, yeah, those are some of the people that I like to emulate. But I think the thing about pop music is I love pop music, but to me, it
Yeah.
just means popular. It doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily mean specific instruments or a specific type of song. And so, all I care about is writing songs that are authentic to me and that say something to me and hopefully to my audience. And that doesn't necessarily need to be limited by a genre or a specific sound.
Now, is there always a different mood that you get into when you're making a song?
Yeah, I mean, I think I just kind of go based off of the mood of whatever moment I'm in, and a lot of
Sure.
my songs are inspired by whatever I'm going through, or if I see something on TikTok or Instagram or whatever that inspires me to sit down and write. Or yeah, so they're definitely dependent on my moods.
Awesome. Now, you're in LA. Are you always from LA? Your music is based out of LA?
Yes, I'm actually born and raised in LA,
Oh,
which
wow.
I know people are always so surprised when they hear that, but it's my home, it's where my family is,
Wow.
and yeah, I love it.
How about the music scene in LA? Is that what influenced you too, like growing up? Like,
I think I had probably kind of a bit of a unique experience because I grew up in LA where a lot of people are entertainers and that's their
yeah,
career. And so they know firsthand how difficult and how hard it can be. So if you're a little girl or a little kid and you're like, I want to
sure.
be a singer, and your friend's dad is an entertainer, they might be like, don't do. I got told very often, like, if you can be happy doing something else, go do something else because it's
Yeah.
so tough and it's so emotional. And but I just always felt like this is my purpose in life. There's nothing else I want to do. And I
Awesome.
also think I also think I'm very blessed that I was from here because I got to see firsthand what it looks like to have a career in this.
Right.
And some people I'm sure from other places like they don't have that same opportunity.
Right. Right. Yeah. It'd be like being in Nashville and you want to be a country singer. right?
Yeah, totally, exactly. And you get to see that it's really possible and like what it looks like to be a professional in that industry.
Yeah, it gives you that motivation. But
Yeah,
also you learn from it that you got to really want to do it.
exactly.
Um, Anybody that has stand out to you that you find really like fresh and interesting, like a new artist, maybe that say came out within the past year or two?
Yeah, I really like, I mean, I think what Billie Eilish, I know she's not new anymore, but like
Oh
what Billie
yeah,
Eilish is doing is just like, I think so revolutionary. And I think she is just so cool and such
yeah,
an amazing voice for young people.
very unique.
Totally. And just completely like shaping music, which I think is amazing. I also think like Lil Nas
Oh
X is
yeah,
doing, like, some really amazing stuff. And just like speaking out for various communities that he, can like stand up for and have a voice for. On a smaller scale, there's a couple artists that I'm really liking. I have a friend called Upsal, and she does some really cool stuff. I just opened for a friend of mine. Her name is Emlyn, and she's a really amazing artist. She also writes a lot about kind of like women empowerment and things like that. So lots of
so
cool people.
you're big like into the local scene then in LA.
Yeah,
I would
exactly.
imagine that's like big,
Yeah, I
massive.
mean, it's cool because there's shows every night and there's always, new people to meet, and I get to go to events all the time and meet
Oh, that's
different
great.
artists, creators, and yeah.
That's awesome. Now, do you do a lot of your own like promotional stuff, like
Yeah,
advertising and all? Yeah,
for sure. I mean, I think I always say the thing that I believe most strongly when it comes to the music industry is that it doesn't matter what team you have or what label you're with or whatever,
right.
like you have to do everything yourself because
Sure.
you want to make sure that the message that you're putting out is authentic to you. And if somebody else is controlling that message or that narrative, it's not going to feel authentic. And like I have a very special relationship with my fans and the people who follow me and listen to my music because we chat every day online, and I know, things that are happening in their life and they know things that are happening in my life. So
That's
I
nice.
think, yeah, I think it's just about like being like marketing and promo to me is really just about kind of like being my authentic self in front of people.
Yeah. And you have a good relationship with your fans and you keep them up to
Yeah,
date and you're vocal with them. That's
exactly.
nice.
I mean, honestly, I just feel so lucky that they even exist. Like, it's so crazy to me still that there are people who listen to my music and people who will come out to my shows, and it honestly blows my mind. So I would do anything to like maintain that relationship and that kind
Yeah.
of business.
That must be an amazing feeling. How about like meeting fans and stuff?
Yeah, every time I get to meet somebody in person, it's so special, especially
Yeah.
given, during COVID, it was like you
Oh
couldn't see
yeah.
people in person. And I
Sure.
had a lot of my growth during COVID online. And so it was not until recently where I got to meet people in person, and I just played a show where for the first time people were like screaming my lyrics back to me.
Oh wow.
It gives me chills to even think about because it's like you don't see that when you're just posting online, when you're just posting
Yeah.
on social media.
It's not the same.
Not at
Like
all.
so many of these bands, and I was you talking to so many of them, but they were doing like the it was really big with the live events. Like they would
Yeah,
have like
totally.
a
Live
live
streams.
concert. But I've been to so many concerts in my life. It's not the same. You
Totally.
got
And
to be there up in the stage and hanging out with them. And
yeah, and I think for me, getting to hug people and take pictures with people and hear about their stories
right,
and, just like the physical aspect of like being in the same room with people who have had similar experiences or who you can relate to on various things, like it's just so special.
nice.
Yeah.
Now, as far as music videos, I absolutely love your music videos. What I
Thank
like
you.
about them is they're so different from another. One of like you have a polished video like Lola,
Yeah.
but then you do a lot of like the acoustic videos like on the streets. Is that
Yep.
all shot in LA?
Yeah, I think I've shot all of those in LA.
Like
I'm
unsettled down and
Yes. So I'm very lucky because my producer, who's also like my guitar player,
I was going to ask you about that. I
yeah,
saw an interview that you had did with him on your YouTube channel.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
so I work with my producer. His name is Alex Flagstad, and he's amazing.
Okay.
And I've worked with other people, but he's kind of my like go-to person. And his roommate happens to be in film, and so he will shoot a
Oh,
lot of these
excellent. I
videos
was
as
going to
well.
ask you.
Yeah, so it's really special because we can just go out, the three of us, and like create a really cool video. Uh,
Yeah.
you know, on the streets of LA, we just kind of find random places that look cool and we shoot them for the acoustic videos.
I think it works great, and especially for the acoustic videos,
Thank you so
because you
much.
have like the polished videos like Lola and all that, but then the nice settled down acoustic, it just works great. You have like people walking by, and it's like
Yeah.
very real feeling.
Yeah, I mean, we've had people stop and like listen. We've had people stop and ask, who are
Oh,
you?
really? I was wondering that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty funny, but
That's cool.
it's cool.
That's
But that's part of just being in a big city and filming in
yeah.
public places and
You have like that advantage of being in LA, you know?
totally, exactly.
That's cool. So then you like to work with him as far as directing the videos and stuff?
Yeah, so it's been different for like my music videos. I I think in a lot of visual ways. So I've had a lot of say in sort of what the music videos are going to look like, and I've worked with
Okay.
for Not All Men, which is my latest music video
Oh
that I
yeah.
put out, and my music video for Rich Man. I worked with this woman who is a director, and she was amazing. Her name is Netta, and yeah, I basically just
All
kind of
based out of California
yeah,
or
all based in LA. And I just basically kind of expressed to her like the vision that I had specifically for Not All Men because it's such a heavy, important video. I had a very specific vision of what I wanted it to kind of represent and the impact that I wanted it to have. And she just really got my vision. And we actually shot the Rich Man music video and the Not All Men music video in one day.
oh wow. One
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. It was a
Wow.
long day.
Wow.
Yep.
And how about like the writing process?
Yeah.
How,
I write a lot of songs on my own.
okay.
Which is something that I think before COVID, I was doing a lot of like sessions, as we call them, like writing
Yeah.
sessions. And I just kind of felt burnt out on them, to be honest. And then COVID came and it was this sort of forced switch back to, being kind of by myself. And I
Yeah.
remembered how much I like writing by myself.
Now, do you
And
go to an actual studio or you do a lot home?
depends on the day. I do a lot at home. I actually have a little home studio.
Okay.
It's just like a room with a piano and a desk and
Yeah.
mic and stuff. It's nothing fancy, but so I do a lot of writing at home. And then sometimes I'll come to I'm here actually now at Alex's studio, my
Oh, all
producer.
right.
So it just depends on the day, and
Nice.
oftentimes I'll write something and then I'll bring it to him and we'll kind of flesh it out together or it just
Okay.
depends. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite song to play live?
That is such a good question. I think I would say it's between Not All Men and Do It Like a Girl.
Okay.
Not All Men is very, like I said, kind of heavy and
Yeah.
intense, but it's so important. And I know the impact that it's had on a lot of people. So it's really special for me to get to sing it for them and them to sing it back to me. And
And vibing with the audience.
yeah, and it just feels so like empowering. And you realize how much stronger we are, when we're together and like building this kind of community and trust around this incredibly sensitive topic.
Right.
Um, but Do It Like a Girl, on the other hand, is one that a lot of people know and love, but it's also just like really empowering and fun and I just feel like a badass when I sing it. So
Now, as far as touring, do you go out of California and go all over out of country? Or
yeah, I've never actually done any shows that I can think of out of the US.
okay.
I'm definitely manifesting that. I really would love to tour
I was
all
gonna
over.
say any plans for 2023 as far as
Yeah,
touring?
definitely trying to play more shows and just go to as many places as I can.
Nice.
I would love, love, love to get out of the US and play some shows. I think that'd be amazing. But I have played shows, throughout the US and in lots of different states.
Nice. Do you
Yeah.
play Jersey a lot or
I don't know if I've ever played Jersey. I've played New York a few times.
okay.
I've played in Texas. I've
Oh,
played throughout
nice.
California. So yeah, but I'm very eager to tour and oh, I just can't wait. I'm so excited. I
Yeah,
know it's gonna happen in 2023.
nice. All right, we have a couple viewer questions and then I got one.
Okay, great.
All right, Carl asks favorite hobbies.
Well, I would say music, but that's not a very good answer because everyone could probably guess that. I love to do yoga. My
Oh,
mom and I
cool.
are both big into yoga. I sound so LA. I love to hike.
Yeah. Oh, me
Um,
too. Me too.
yeah, I love to go on
Yeah.
hikes, just like turn on a podcast or some music.
Right.
And I live near a couple hikes. It's so awesome.
Nice.
I love to just like hang out with my friends.
Cool.
And yeah.
Nice. Tammy asks something about you that would surprise us to hear.
Ooh, that is a good question. I could go serious or I could go not so serious. Um, I would say I think people think of me as this like very confident, like badass, which I
Yeah.
definitely feel like I am, but I always kind of say I'm probably the most insecure bad bitch you've ever met in your life because I don't think people would understand that I am like incredibly insecure in a lot of
Yeah.
ways. And so honestly, that's something I hope to talk a little bit more about in my music because
Okay.
I have really expressed the like badass side of me, which is very real and very there, and I am incredibly confident in a lot of
Yeah.
ways. But I don't know that people would know that I do get very insecure about a lot of things.
All right. And Yolanda asks, um, favorite place to perform. I don't know if she means like maybe a venue or
Uh-huh. Honestly, that's such a lame answer, but it's so true. Anywhere. Like I just love
yeah,
performing. I love singing in front of people. Anywhere that people will show up and want to, come to a show is a place that I want to go.
cool.
I
Good
know that's such a
answer.
lame answer. I
But
apologize.
it's the truth though. Yeah.
It's so true. I just love it so much and I feel like my most at home on stage. So
Yeah.
anywhere that I can do that is just like I feel so lucky.
Yeah. And the fan zone asks, how do you overcome writer's block?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it's just partially about accepting that there's going to be bad songs and there's going to be off days. And I
Yeah.
definitely get in my head about those days. But, Ed Sheeran has this quote that he talks about where he says writing songs is like turning on an old faucet. And you
Right.
have to let the dirty water and the old gross water come out before the clean water starts coming out. And so I think so much of it is just like pushing through and accepting the bad parts as part of the journey to get to the good parts.
That makes sense. Right.
Yeah.
And my question is, what is the best advice that you can give maybe an maybe somebody that's already in the music business that's starting out or somebody that's thinking about being a musician? What's the best advice you could give them?
I would have two pieces of advice. I would say, first of all, just start
Yeah.
because sometimes it can feel like almost like going to the gym. The hardest part is getting there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And at least for me, that's the hardest part. Once I'm there, I'm
Just to
like, all right.
start. Yeah.
Exactly. Just to show up and do it. Like sit down and write a song. If you want to be a songwriter, you are a songwriter once you write a song.
Right.
So there, you don't need all these fancy things. You don't need
Yeah.
experience. You really don't need anything. If you want to be a musician, just sit down and start doing it. And then my second piece of advice would be that you are inherently interesting enough just as you are. And I think that's something I've struggled with a lot is like worried that I'm not cool enough or I'm not,
Yeah.
weird enough or I'm not whatever. And I think that as humans, we're all so uniquely different and it's so beautiful. And like inherently, you are different than any other human being who has ever existed. So you are enough and your story is enough.
Great. Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else you would like to add?
No, just thank you so much for chatting. And I'm just so grateful for anybody who has ever listened to my music or watched
Yeah.
any of my videos or anything. It's so fun.
Yeah. I've been spreading the word, sharing some
Yeah,
videos.
exactly. Please
Um,
do check me out.
how about social media? Where can people find you?
Yeah, so on pretty much if you just search Morgan St. Jean, you'll find
Okay.
Instagram is Morgan St. Jean, Twitter is Morgan St. Jean. I think TikTok is Morgan St. Jean Music. That's probably the
Yeah.
only one that's different.
Uh, okay. Pretty
But
much
if you
everyone
search
else
my
is the
name,
same. All
yeah,
right.
exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. I'll put links below.
Thank you so
Everybody can
much.
check you out. Oh, that was the other question that I had. I noticed that you have a lot of like singles. Is there
Yeah.
an album that's coming together where everything is all together or
So I've released technically two projects.
okay.
And there was like various singles from each project. So one of the projects was called Rich Man, which came out in February or March of last year. I don't remember, like around then. But that's a lot of those songs were released as singles before being released as an
Right.
EP. And then recently I released a project called Conversations. And that was actually basically it's four songs which had all been released previously. But
Okay.
I really wanted them to all kind of exist in one place because they're my four songs that are really about kind of the current climate of the world and like
Right.
issues that I really care about. And so I wanted them to all be easily accessible in one
Yeah.
body of work.
Mm-hmm.
And I, at the same time as like the release of that, I released the Right acoustic video, the Not All
Mm.
Men music video,
Okay.
had merch for the first time. So I kind of wanted to just create this one project that encapsulated, even though I had released the songs previously, I just wanted it to be all kind of in one space.
Okay.
Yeah,
Great.
but hopefully an album eventually.
Yeah. Is that like a goal, upcoming goal?
Absolutely. I mean, I think we live in a world where people's attention span is kind of short. So, to be able to have people's attention long enough to listen to an
Sure.
album would just be really cool.
Yeah. All
So,
right,
yeah,
Morgan. Thank you so much for coming on this show.
thank
I
you so
really
much for having
appreciate it and
me.
hope to see you again soon.
Yes, thank you so much.
All right. Take care.